Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Thriving Immigrant Podcast. I'm so excited to host you again today. I thank you for always listening to this podcast. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you for tuning in. You are in the right place. I am so pumped. I'm really excited about today's conversation because it's not every time you come across a PhD holder, not just a PhD holder, but a PhD holder in nanotechnology. I'm sure some of you are like, what does that even mean? Well, I don't know what it means to, but she's here today to explain what that means. Apart from that, she's a lecturer in one of the top universities in Canada, and she's also an immigrant. I find her story very inspiring. She is a phenomenal, energetic person. You guys should be ready for a lot of energy. So join me in welcoming Dr. Zino Ojogbo to the Thriving Immigrant Podcast. There- There's a
Oh,
drum I need to roll. Okay.
oh,
Welcome,
thank
Dr.
you.
Zino.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here and to be having this conversation today and to be sharing my journey. Yeah.
Yeah, you are a thriving immigrant. I've been following your story for a while. I see your post on Instagram, and every time I see some of those stories, I just get inspired because you are someone who loves to share your journey. Like, I don't know how you do it. Maybe one day you just wake up, you remember when you were working in oil and gas, you share those stories. I follow them, and I get a lot of inspiration from your story. But do you want to walk us through your immigration journey?
Yeah. In fact, I was going to make a post today with my talking about since we're throwing it back to 2016. It's trending on Instagram, but I just got lazy. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it tomorrow. Yeah. Um. So right after university, I did my bachelor's degree in University of Benin, chemical engineering. Right after university, in fact, when I was still a youth corper, I got a job in an oil and gas servicing company in Nigeria, Baker Hughes. So it was really exciting. And even though at that time I had it in mind I was going to do my master's, but when I got that job, I'm like, I'm just going to work this job. And at that time, I was dating someone. In fact, I was head over. I'm a lover girl. I was head over heels in love with this man, and I'm like, no. So I'm going to leave this my man for Lagos girls. I'm not going abroad. I'm going to stay in this country. So
Oh, so touching.
yeah. So this was in 2012. So I took that job and I started working the job. But at some point, I knew that relocation was on the cards for me because all my siblings had already relocated too. So I knew I was going to relocate, but I just did not know when. So I started working the job, and I Baker Hughes actually gave me a lot of exposure because we had training centers like in Dubai. You travel. It's like when Baker Hughes take you, like they dust all the dirt from your body. They just clean you up. Yeah, the salary was average, but the exposure, you are going abroad
Mm,
for training and whatnot. It was really nice. So that was my first experience abroad when I was working in Bika. So I went to Dubai and I saw the life abroad. I'm like, wow, so you can actually live in a
wow.
place and you're not bothered about power failure. And living in Baker Hughes, when we go for this training, they put us in like it's like hotel like accommodation where you don't have to do anything. All you have to do during training school is read your book and pass your exam. They have people that come and clean. They have food in the training center. Like you had everything. Just read. People come. They do your laundry. They do everything for you. It was like that. Like I'm like, wow. So this is the life.
Wow.
Life could actually
We're
be like
living the life of an expatriate.
yeah, exactly. And I still remember one time, um, and you could use the company credit card to go for group dinners with your colleague and went to nice restaurants. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, is
Love
this?
it. Am I dreaming?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this. I'm working for an oil and gas service company. I was exposed to the oil companies, Shell, Chevron. In fact, there was the time I was sitting in ExxonMobil office in Lagos as um, representing the service company. So I had a lot of exposure. I built a lot of network. It was really nice. And I was growing as well. I used to go to the field and make field bonus and whatnot. I loved it. So I worked that job from 2012 until In 2016, oil price dropped. And every week we would hear in the office that, oh, they are releasing new names. So they were making people redundant. Every week we hear that they are releasing new names. So, every day you go to work, your heart is skipping. Oh my
The
God, HR should not
anxiety.
call me. You don't want HR to call you. HR should not call me. But before this time, this was before 2016. Before 2016, there was one of my friends who had mentioned to me, or like one of my best friends in university. She had mentioned to me that, she's trying to. So she had gone abroad, did her master's in the UK, but she came back to Nigeria. But she's trying to do this Canada Express entry. She wants to relocate to Canada. So I'm like, what are you doing? Just tell me what you are doing, so I will do it. So I started with follow. So she's like, oh, she's going to write IELTS. I told her, okay, send me the link. I booked IELTS. Me and her on that day, we entered the car. She used to live in VI. I was living in the Lekki axis in Boyfon. We entered car that day, went to write IELTS. She's like, oh, the next thing you need to do is West. I also did West. She's like, okay, then you need to enter the express entry pool. I entered the express entry pool. This was between me and my friend. This was before, I think this was around like 2015. On express entry pool, my points were low. I really did not even read much about express entry because knowing what I know now, if I knew it then, I would have relocated to Canada as a PR and not as a student. But there was this lack of, I was doing follow. This is why you always hear me say, stop doing follow. I was doing follow. Anyways, in 2016, I'd gone to the office one day and I received that call that I did not want to receive, the call from HR.
Oh no.
So, in fact, I still remember it clearly. It was a day to my birthday. Before I drove from our office in Ikoyi up until, because then union and management, they were fighting. So union said, if HR called, you don't sign the document. So once HR called me, I told them I'm not signing the document. So I left the office. Before I drove from my office in Ikoyi to my house in Ibuefon, because there was no traffic at that time, I drove during the time where there was no traffic, like 45 minutes drive. They had cut me off, blocked all my access, blocked my phone. Like, they had cut me off from everything. The reality hits me that I've never been without a job. I didn't struggle to find a job the way I hear Nigerian graduates say they struggle. I got the job during NYC. The job waited for me to complete my NYC. That's when this reality struck me that, okay, I am now unemployed. And I woke up the following morning. That day I cried. When I woke up the following morning, I did not have anything to do. Normally I wake up, get dressed.
Yeah.
I already had a routine, but I felt like my identity was stripped from me. I felt lost. Like, what has happened here? What happened to me? It was that day I decided that, maybe it's actually time for me to take my relocation seriously. Because I'd worked in the oil industry in a niche field. I was a cementing engineer. If I would describe what cementing is so that everybody understands, when we go to the field, they drill oil wells. So you're putting a hole in the ground. When they drill those wells, they put pipes in it. We have to put cement around those
Around the
pipes
pipe.
to secure those pipes. So you want to make sure that you are not having any blowouts or anything. You are managing the pressure. You are checking the density of your cement. You want to make sure that you are able to pump, because these wells are deep. You want maybe something that we're going down 13,000 feet. You want to make sure that your cement gets to where it's supposed to be before it sets. So I was doing the engineering of that, and I used to go to the field. So it was quite niche. And this time, even the banks were letting people go everywhere. They were sacking people everywhere. I'm like, where am I even going to get a job? So I did not even bother with, like, let me look for a job.
Another one.
I'm like, this is time for me to relocate. This is a sign that I needed. For the first few weeks, I was depressed. I'm not going to lie. I would just like to be in a dark place. I'll close my room window and just be there, feeling hopeless, I had to pick up myself from that hopelessness. Because it wouldn't help. I had some leverage, though, because I like to say the truth and present things as it is. So I had some leverage, which I would recognize that some people don't have. So when I said I was going to relocate to Canada, I had only 1.2 million naira in my account. That money, looking at it then, that money I actually used it to buy a ticket for me and my son. That was all the money could cover. But my older brother, who was in the UK at that time, had told me that if I get admission, he's going to give me £20,000. So that also gave me the boldness.
Yeah, that was a motivation.
It was a motivation for me to apply. I eventually did not take that £20,000 because I got a scholarship, so I didn't need the £20,000. So I didn't collect the money, but at least I had that. Now? Sorry?
Can you give us £20,000?
If my brother should hear it, I wish. Right now, looking back, maybe I should have collected that money. Yeah, but I didn't collect it because when I got the scholarship, I didn't need that money anymore. So I didn't collect that money. But it was like a backup plan for me, I would say. So I like to put that there, that I had that leverage, but it was a backup plan, but I eventually did not need. So that my 1.2 million, I used it to buy air ticket for me and my son. I still remember British Airways. In fact, I still have the boarding pass. You know that blue
Wow.
folder? That blue folder that you have where you put your certificates, that boarding pass is there because it kind of holds, I don't know, I feel like it's sentimental. So I still have that boarding pass. I used to relocate to this country. Yeah, so that was how I came to Canada. And it's really been a journey. And you remember that man that I told you that I'm like, I'm not going to leave this man in Lagos for all these Lagos
Yeah.
girls. So I
Yeah.
married that man. And
Oh, okay.
we had some too. But yeah, life happens. So, yeah,
Yeah. We come back to that.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing your journey. So you are a storyteller, so I'm not surprised. I've seen your stories on Instagram a few times. But I'm really curious about that scholarship. It's like you didn't touch. How did you get your scholarship? And did anyone teach you, or you just found it on your own?
Okay, so nobody taught me. The thing is that I knew that there were scholarships, but I did not know how to get them. Especially scholarships in Canada, especially you hardly see them called scholarships, and this is one mistake that people make. Like in the UK, if you know, you can see scholarship in the UK. There are some specific. I like to call them open scholarship. These are scholarships that are open to everybody. They call them scholarship. But in Canada, if you go and check in Canada, you hardly ever see anybody call it scholarship. Maybe they call it funding. Maybe they'll just say that everybody that gets into this program gets this X amount of dollars. So that's how it works. And the way I was able to find it was to visit the website of the university to see what funding opportunities do they have available. And as somebody who was traveling with a kid, and I tell people that it's one thing if you are alone, you can take risk and do anything. But when you have someone that is depending on you, you need to dot all your I's and cross all your T's. So I
Yes.
needed to make sure that in the worst case scenario, I had my tuition fees covered. And I did not only have my tuition fees covered, the university also gave me some stipend for daycare as well. So, but when you go to the website of the universities in Canada, it will tell you. So there are two kind of graduate. So it's mostly for graduate programs. So either you are doing a master's or a PhD. There are two types of masters. They have research-based masters and course-based masters. Course-based masters don't have funding. It is the research-based masters that have funding. Now, when I talk about this point, people just think about. I know sometimes we advertise and say, study in Canada for free. It's not really free money. Really, it's not free money. The universities are built around research. And for a university to rank top university, they must be doing
Must be
research.
big on
Like if
research.
between University of Toronto always ranks really high, especially above Waterloo. Like I have bias for Waterloo, but what I'm saying here is the truth, especially above Waterloo. One reason is that University of Toronto has a medical school that Waterloo doesn't have. But
Yeah.
University of Waterloo is very good in research. So research is very important to this university. It helps their ranking. It helps them to attract good talents. Helps undergraduates to come there. Undergraduates pay a lot of school fees. Now, the only way they can do this research is using graduate students. So without the graduate students, these universities cannot survive. They can't exist. So they need, because professors will not wear lab coats and go inside the lab. So they need the graduate students. So it's a win-win for everybody. So what they do is that they give you some funding. You come, you do research, produce a thesis, and then you hear that, University of Waterloo found something that is very good in the world and can save the world. Who did that? It's a graduate student that is behind that research. The supervisor will only supervise and provide guidance. Who did the work? It's a graduate student. So that's why they give the funding.
Thank you. This is very insightful. Thank you for the education. Of course, I'm not surprised. You're a lecturer, and I never saw it this way, which means what you're trying to tell me now is for universities' existence to continue, they must be big on research. And for
Yes.
that research to be done, they need people to do those research, and they need funding to get those research done,
Yes.
which means scholarships will always be available for a long time.
Always. It doesn't stop always. It's just very competitive. But scholarships, there's no day that we would say, scholarship will stop. It doesn't stop. And this is one reason why in Canada especially, you see that the colleges don't have scholarship. It's because they don't do research. So this is why I
I
tell people, if you
see.
want to study in Canada, if you are going to a
You have
college,
to
you're ready to
go
pay school fees. Colleges don't do research, so they cannot
research.
fund you. Yeah.
So a lot of people think not a lot, but many people just think maybe scholarship is luck, or you have to be a first class graduate for you to get scholarship. Do you think that's a misconception?
Yes, I think it's a misconception, but there is a level of there is a level of academic success that you need, but it's generally a misconception that you need to have a first class. Like for example, I did not graduate to first class, and I've gotten all the scholarships, and it's not luck too. Maybe people can say that there's an element of luck, but I would tell you that it's more strategy than luck because um first of all, I said I did not graduate to first class, but I would get scholarship. And even after I came to Canada, I've gotten all the Ontario government scholarships, all the Canada federal government scholarships. There are some that I get all the scholarships that I cannot take all because some scholarships will tell you, oh, you cannot combine, like you cannot combine federal government scholarship and Ontario scholarship. So you have to choose one. So
Okay.
I've always had to let go of scholarships. That's the level of
What a
success that
place
I
to
have
be.
gotten. But here's the thing. I tell people I'm not even the best. When I applied for, there's this NSEC PhD scholarship. When I applied, people told me you will not get it. Because the people, historically, the people that have gotten it, they have a CGPA. Canada, they do it as percentages of like 96 over 100. I studied in Canada with a school, with a child, struggling. I was not even, all I was focused on is that, you know what, let me just pass. I'm not trying to take first here. And my CGPA was 82%. This scholarship is so competitive that the university is going to rank from everybody that will apply in university. They are going to rank, and the university will now send the names of the students to federal level. Then they will now do a competition in the federal level. So departments will rank their students and send to university level. Everybody from all the departments, maybe the university is sending only 5 names. Department will send 5 names to university. University will send 5 names to federal level.
To federal.
That's how it
Wow.
works. So I made it out of my department. Even my supervisor was like, I don't think you get scholarship. I just told you, don't worry, I'm going to apply. What's the worst that will happen? Sure, they will say no. But let me try. What if they say yes? I made out of the university, made out of the department, made out of the university. Then I got this scholarship. So the
Amazing.
thing is that there's an element of strategy. And I tell people that you need to make up for what you don't have with what you can get.
Uh,
So example, like I said, 82% is not that bad, but considering that I'll be competing against people that have 98%, you would think that, oh yeah, just forget it, which is what people were telling me. But then again, they look at other things. Are you productive? So because I really couldn't compete in CGPA, I could do research from home, sometimes like write papers. So I did that. So even though that my CGPA was lower than other people, that balanced me up, to be like, okay, yeah, because again, they look at it like this person productive. She's published these 10 papers, has over 1,000 citations. So professors don't even have that.
wow.
But yeah, and then I got the scholarship. So now there's a place for grades. But then again, I tell people that they look beyond your grades. What else can you bring? What else do you have? What can you do? As a person, you need to look at yourself to be like, okay, I cannot meet up with these grades because of this reason. But are there other things that I can show? And you need to look for fit to and alignments as well. And don't do follow. People do a lot of follow because my friend applied for this, I'm going to apply for that. It may not work for you. So don't do. You need to learn, you need to research, understand. Then there's another thing that has made me extremely successful. And is understanding the value of the funder. I'll give you an example. What that means is that, let's say government of Canada is trying to fund, like for my postdoctoral fellowship, I got the University of Waterloo scholarship and I got NSEC, the federal government scholarship. I applied to the two, and I'll tell you what I did in those two to be successful. Now, of course, I have every other thing that other people will have. Other people will have all the regular things they say they will bring. Everybody will have that. But what made me stand out is that I went to look at the government's plan. What is the government trying to achieve? So I went there and I looked at it and I saw that, oh, right now the government, they have some challenges. So there's this pollutant, PFAS, that is polluting everywhere, and they are trying to clean up. They are trying to eliminate industries and factories from using PFAS in their production. How can I align myself? I proposed a solution to PFAS. If it is you that is giving the funding and you say you have this problem and somebody comes with a proposal to solve that problem, you give them the money. I did
Absolutely.
that.
That was
With
being
the University
strategic.
of Waterloo, when I applied, I went to read the university strategic plan. You see the extra mile that I go. I went to read the university strategic plan. What is the university currently working on for the next 5 years? How can I contribute to it? So of course they'll have a list of things. I said, okay, let me choose three. One of them said they want to commercialize research and, have startups come from the university. Okay, I tied my proposal to that. They want to train they want to train students, so they give opportunities for co-op students and whatnot. I tied it. We're going to hire, my research has opportunities to hire undergraduate students for training. I tied it there. The third thing I tied it to was that using this research, will be like the first of its kind in Waterloo, and we can open up a facility for PFAS testing within the university using my research to build the expertise. There's no way. There's no way. Because I tied it to their strategic plan. So this is what I do differently. The one time I applied for a women's scholarship. What did I put there? That as a woman in STEM, I put myself out there to show other women that they can do it. I go for career talks in schools with non-profits. So it's not, I think beyond, I don't just submit a scholarship essay or just, I think
go
beyond.
The extra mile.
Yeah, go the extra mile. What are these people looking for? What are their values? What do they stand for? How can I align with their values to let them know that I'm not only thinking about myself, but I'm thinking about how I can elevate them as well. Yeah.
Wow. I'm learning so much. I didn't even want you to stop. I'm sure somebody is learning. This has been so insightful. We've only had this for like 20 minutes, but you've said a whole lot of things that can help you, not just in scholarship application, but in anything you do in life, because these are life nuggets that you are sharing. Wow. So you always go the extra mile to apply when you're applying for scholarships. And of course, like you said, if someone goes through your application and it's like you are hitting the nail on the head,
Yeah.
they just have no choice. Like, no, this person will use this money to achieve the goal that we are trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Okay, I'm loving this. So if you are loving this, hit the subscription button. If you are not following Dr. Zino already on Instagram, I wonder who you are following. So if you are planning to leave, I don't know where you are listening from, but if it has always been on your goal to move to another part of the world by studying or by getting scholarships, because the immigration policies are changing globally. In the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of updates that are not even looking good. But like Dr. Zino mentioned, there will always be scholarships. And okay, we get back to that. So when I saw your post about your new role at University of Waterloo, I wasn't surprised, but I was a little bit shocked. Like, oh, Dr. Zino really wants to lecture, because the image I have of you is one businesswoman. So have you always had this dream of being a lecturer?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm a sessional lecturer in University of Waterloo. So a sessional lecturer is that you teach for some sessions. And I'm also a postdoctoral researcher. So a postdoctoral researcher is the research that you do between when you become a full faculty member and after your PhD. And now, I love research. In fact, I did not even know anything about research. The way Nigerian universities are, we didn't have research labs like we have here. But when I came to Canada, after I lost my job, I really did not know what my next steps are. Like, let me just go to school first. But once I started doing research, I loved research. I love research. And that's why I decided that after my master's, I'm going to do a PhD so that I can become a professor or even a principal investigator in one of the government research institutes. But I also love academia, and I'll tell you, I love business. I run multiple businesses. I don't just love business, I love money. Like, that's why money finds me. I love money. And because I love money, I like to work hard. So I chase after multiple businesses. But at the same time, I have a career as an academic. Now, why I love academia is academia gives me everything. In academia, you can consult, do technical consulting. You have your full-time job where you're leading a research lab and teaching. And you can also start up businesses from there. So people, they do the research, they find something, and then they start up a company from there. So academia gives me the opportunity to do everything that I love to do. Plus, it also gives me flexibility as well. And I also like to interact with students, Something that I love. So being in that space gives me everything that I want to do. And another thing again is that I also feel like I owe it to our black community to be in a position of leadership. And I always say this when I
Mm,
come across black people. It's a struggle, it's difficult. Nobody is going to give you something on a platter of gold, but as much as we can, our children need to see us there. I want my son to go to his school, his elementary school, and see a black teacher that looks like him. There's none in my son's school right now. So as black people, we need to be in those positions. So I owe it to our black community to be in that position so that when the students walk in, they get this level of comfort to see somebody like them. I remember my first class. The first class I had, these students, these are undergraduate students, 18 years, they had just come from all over the world, all over the country, and they were walking into the class. I remember when the black student saw me, I could see the smile and the comfort on her face. So I also
mm.
feel like I owe it. So I tell people that, I must enter into these places. So as black people, we need to be getting into positions of leadership. So our children will not see us and think that, what black people do is to work in factory. No, we are highly intelligent people, highly educated. So even if it is difficult, we should face that struggle and be in those spaces. And when you are in those spaces, you make sure that you speak up. Don't just be a chairwoman. Let people know that you are in that space. Use your voice, speak up, contribute. You have ideas, don't be afraid to talk. We have to be in those spaces. So I also feel like I owe it to our black community. So and
Wow.
I'm going to be there. People will
Thank you.
come there to see me. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I want to say. I just want to say thank you because this last point you raised is more like a calling and it's a very deep one because we as humans, I think sometimes we are not cognizant of how people build dreams and visions. And as children, for example, most kids they will say, I want to be like my dad. Maybe between the ages of 4 and 6 or 8, but as they grow and they start forming values, they may pick someone else in the community that they want to be like. But most of the time, people are able to dream based on the realities around them.
Yeah, people cannot be what they cannot see. Yeah.
People cannot be what they cannot see.
Yeah.
So if you don't find any black person in a leadership position, as a child, you probably just feel like, no, that position is not meant for black people. And if you see your dad going to the factory every day, no discredit to people who work in the factory. It's just what I try to say is you there's no crime or there's no offense to dream more. So if you see your father or your mom going to factory or doing some not so good jobs, you probably will just think that's the best that life can offer people of your color. So thank you for positioning yourself for a leadership position so that you can inspire other people. And you are doing it well, you are doing it graciously. And the beautiful thing is you don't even know the people that you are inspiring. Some people see your stories on Instagram, some people see it on LinkedIn, and they use that story to develop their dreams and they are inspired. Yeah, I know. When I moved to Waterloo, I lived in Waterloo at some point. When I moved to Waterloo, because we were living in Brampton before we moved to Waterloo, and that particular day I went to Walmart. For the first time, I knew I was black. So when we came to Canada, we started in Brampton. Brampton is very diverse. So you will see black, you will see brown, you see.
Yeah.
That reality never dawned on me. But when I moved to Waterloo, I just found myself in Walmart and I looked around and noticed that, oh, I'm actually black.
Nobody
And
like you.
no, nobody like me. And that moment, I lost confidence. I couldn't even negotiate well. I couldn't respond to queries like the things I wanted to buy. I just picked them and I paid and I left. So I can imagine if somebody is trying to build a life and is trying to dream, and you see everyone around you doing a particular thing, and nobody's doing what you should do, you probably will not even dream further.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's very powerful, profound. And I wish you all the best so that you can inspire more
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, moving on, I would really love you to touch on immigration briefly. because that landscape has changed. I think I saw in the news that currently in Canada there are maybe about 2 million temporary residents, if that's the right word, and there is only less than 400,000 slots.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking in my head that what's going to happen to over 1 million people in the next 1 to 2 years. But you are not an immigration consultant, so we can leave that for now.
Yeah, no, but I can just share general tips.
Yeah.
Um, because for me, I was still a student when I became a permanent resident, and it was as a result of positioning. Because the normal student pathway is that you come as a student, you finish school, you apply for postgraduate work permit, then you apply for permanent residency. I never applied for postgraduate work permits because my ultimate goal was to become a permanent resident. If I said it that when I was in Nigeria, I was already in the express entry pool. If I'd known what I had known then, the problem that I had then was that my English score was quite low, even if it was enough to get in the express entry pool. If I'd improved it, it would have improved a lot of my scores, and I would have been able to. So when I came to Canada, I wrote another English test. But before I put the result in there, they had called, my score would have gone to 421. But before the result came out for me to put it, they did that draw. I missed it. I know that a lot of my classmates then got that draw and they got in. They got their PR. They got invitation to apply at that time. So it was once I finished my master's, I went updated it before I started my PhD, and I got an ITA. What I would normally tell people is that the first thing is that just be in the pool. Sometimes they do some random draws. You don't know. They will just pick maybe your previous occupation from Nigeria or something. Just be in the pool. But people don't want to write English tests. I tell them, before you to become a PR in Canada, you must. So whether you write it in the future or you write it today, you just better face it early and be in the pool just in case. First of all, be in the pool. It doesn't matter what your score is. Be there. Then second, I also tell people that they do not tie your kidney to a specific place. Some people will say, oh, because I hear that there are some opportunities in Newfoundland. They say, no, I cannot live in Newfoundland. You cannot live. So you need to focus on your priorities. What is your priority? Is it a choice of where to live or to get your PR? So
You
you
need
need
to
to
align your priorities.
exactly what is most important to you now. Because if you check, I hear Joy Troops every day talking about opportunities in Newfoundland. Sometimes there were opportunities in Eastern Ontario. Some people will say, "Oh no, I built. You just came 1 year ago. You have built
You say
relationships
beauty.
here. You cannot move there." And when I hear these things, it upsets me so much that if I say anything to these people, I'm sure that they would hate me. So I just keep quiet. I just leave them. So when I hear people say, no, I cannot go to that place, then they go out of status. So you have to be open. And research is very important. This is why when people say that they are depending on people to do one thing for them, I tell them you cannot make progress in Canada. Let's even forget immigration. If you cannot do independent research, you can't make progress in this country. So you need to be able to do research. All the information is on the internet. Go there, read this. All the provinces, check all the provinces. Different provinces have different programs. Go and look at all these programs. Look for a way that you can align yourself. My brother got Canadian PR. Do you know how he got it? From just alignment. There was one time Ontario was doing some sort of nomination then for people in tech, and he had done a cybersecurity course, and he has done some done some work experience, even if it was a side work experience. It was not his full-time job, but he has taken some jobs here and there. He did his CV to suit what they were looking for, that NOC, and he got the invitation to apply. So sometimes I tell people, have a general CV, of everything that you have done. Now, this is not a CV I need to apply for job, but for everything that you have done. Then go and, what are they looking for? Look for alignment. You will find something, change your NOC code to fit that thing that they are looking for. If you have the experience. If you don't have the experience, at least you know what they are looking for. You have time to be working towards it. But a lot of these people, I see them, a lot of international students, I see them, they just sit there, and all they do is complain and complain and complain. And many times I'm like, you know what, just mind your business. Because these people, there's one woman that I worked with, I always talk about her story. I can never share her story enough. When she was trying to come to Canada as a student, 45 years old, people told her, beg, madam, go and look your children. That's what they told her. And when she came to meet me, I told her, trust me, you can get a scholarship. She worked with me. She got a scholarship. She had 2 kids in university and 2 younger kids. She came to Canada with the 2 younger kids because she did not want to interrupt the ones in university. So she came with the 2 younger kids. Next, they told her, by the time she finished her education, she was already 47. Madam, you're not going to get PR. You're not going to get PR. That's what they told her. But this woman, In fact, before she even finished school, she got a job with the oh my god, Ontario. I forget what it is. Those people that do trading, just like on Canada Stock Exchange. She got a job
Okay.
before she even finished school. She got a job with Canada Stock Exchange. As I speak with you now, this woman has gotten IT. What did she do? She learned French. A woman of
Hmm.
47 years old. You would think that by this time now she's already getting tired. No, she learned French. She has gotten IT. When I tell some people go and learn French, because the draw scores for people that have French in their profile is lower. When I tell
Yeah.
people go and learn French, they tell me, ah, no, they cannot learn French. I tell them they are not serious. I tell people that in this immigration journey, you must be ready to do everything and
Till
anything
it
legal. As
takes.
long as you are not committing a crime, as long as it is legal. Don't come and tell me that you cannot learn French. You don't have head to learn French. You will have it. Learn it.
Yeah.
The people that, and this is why I tell people that there's a competition for this thing. You want it, outwork the competition. You must be ready to go the extra mile. If you don't go,
Hmm.
somebody else will get the opportunity and you'll be there. Then you just stay there and you complain. So the people that will do
Wow.
the extra, they will get the opportunities.
Yeah. You know, for you, you've always been proactive and you know how to put in the extra effort into everything. So maybe that's why it comes naturally to you. But of
Yeah.
course, if you are in that position right now and it looks like you are getting stuck, you have to give whatever it takes to get your PR. It's a game of numbers. So because there is a slot that the government wants to take, that even makes it more competitive. And if there are factors that you need to consider to be more eligible, why don't you want to tick all the boxes? Look at the story she just shared. Somebody is 47. What I understand about Canada Express entry is the moment you turn 30, you start losing
Yes.
5 points.
Yes. Every year you lose 5 points. Age is a big
Every
factor. Yeah.
age is a big factor. So that woman has lost 70 points.
Yeah.
She
Just
needed to use French to give her another leverage. And now she has gotten ITA. Amazing
yeah.
story. Thank you for sharing. If a 47-year-old woman is still dreaming, putting in all her efforts, and the people you are talking about, some of them are even in their 30s.
Yes. Now they are young. Some
Yeah,
don't even have kids. So you're wondering, okay, it's not as if you're taking care of anybody. So what are
yeah,
you using your time to do? Don't sleep. If you don't sleep, don't sleep. It's temporary. It's a sacrifice you have to make.
yeah. Okay, you know, I warned you guys before we started this podcast that there's a lot of energy in the room. There's a lot of energy in the room. And I don't want you to take this like she's upset or she's angry. She's not angry. She's just passionate
Oh yeah.
about what she's talking about. She's
Let me
not
even
an,
tell you something funny. There's one of my friends. Her son came to ask her one day that so we're just me and my friend were gisting and laughing. Nothing, no arguments, it was just gist and laughter. Her son came to ask her like, Mommy, why is it that when white people are talking, they are calm, they are calm. You see Chinese people, they are calm. But you people, don't worry, we're just loud. We are not fighting, we
we are
are just
passionate.
yeah, it's
It's
passion.
passion.
We're gisting.
We are not fighting. So Dr. Zino is not angry with you. She's
I'm
just
not angry.
passionate about the topic.
It's passion. I'm just very passionate.
Okay, thank you. This has been a very insightful conversation. I know people who are in that situation right now, or people who are trying to relocate to Canada, they must be loving this conversation and they are picking one or two lessons from what you've shared. Now, there's something you casually talked about, and I would like you to just talk briefly on it. When people move to this part of the world, or when people are trying to move to this part of, especially single women, there is this, is it a myth or how will I put it, that if you've not found love in Nigeria or in Africa, how do you now find love in a new country? Better look for husband here before you leave. And you mentioned that you came here with a son. I've seen your stories. I know that you found Paul. You are happily married with Paul, and you guys have built a very wonderful family. Every time I see your family picture, I'm just so wow. So how you did not just build career, you also built a family. Do you want to speak to some ladies, some single ladies listening to you right now and just share your story, how you found love in Canada.
Yes, yes, and I'll go the extra mile. You know, I like to do extra. I'll speak to single ladies, I'll speak to single mothers, and I'll speak to divorcees because I told you I married somebody in Nigeria. I'll speak to divorcees. Um, yes, so I mean, I do everything passionately. You can see when I love hard with so much passion. Like everything with me has this amount of passion. You know, it's just my person. And I think that all my life, at least until I met Paul, I've been meeting the wrong people. That, in the sense that, you know, sometimes some people tell you that you're too much. I've heard people tell me that I'm too much. I've heard that before. And
Mm,
again, I cannot fault them because I may be too much for certain people. But you just need to find your person that if you are giving too much, they are ready to receive too much, you know? Yeah, so when that match is there, then it's just kind of a balance. And I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn. So, um, you don't tell me to do something just because. I'm also reasonable. I like to say that I'm intelligent. Ask questions. Like, if you come and tell me something, I'll ask you why or why not. You know, I expect you to give me certain reason. Don't come and tell me that, you know, yeah, because I'm a man. Please, you just trigger me.
mm,
Yeah. Um, the way I do everything passionately, that's how I love passionately. And my ex, my God, I loved him with my everything, my to the depth of my soul. And I think that I'm not going to speak bad about him because we've gotten to a place where we are kind of in good terms now. We are able to co-parent each other. Nobody's fighting. You know, co-parent our son, and nobody's fighting. And I'm glad for where we are. But again, he'll have his own side of the story. But there was abuse in that relationship, and it got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I don't fail at anything. That's my mindset. But that marriage taught me something, that sometimes it is important for you to know when to walk away. I'm the opposite
mm,
person that says never give up, never give up. Like, I associate giving up with failure, but that's not true. That was something that I learned from that marriage. You need to know when you should walk away. Whether you are doing a business, whether you are doing something, and it's not failure, you take the lessons learned and you move on. As long as you know that you have done everything that you could possibly do. And in that relationship, I did not want to be a single mother. I did not want to have a broken home. I loved my identity as a wife. And I did not want to lose that, but I was losing myself so much, and there was abuse and there was violence, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm glad that I am at this point where I am today. And then there was shame. I'm saying this because I'm talking to single mothers now. There was shame. People will talk about you, they will gossip you, you know, um, call you all sorts of names, including
mm,
Ashewo and all that. I did for outside. That's why, you know, I did outside. They call you all sorts of names. But I still remember what my stepmom told me one time. That people only talk about you for a while and they're going to stop because another gist will always come up. But then again, I also had to do some healing. Like I told you, I'm very stubborn. And as a result of my stubbornness, I had this um and I hear some people talk about it that, you know, I need a strong hard man to handle me. Are you a goat? Are you an animal that somebody has to handle you? Like, you need to control yourself. You don't say I need a strong man because I'm tough. I need a strong man to handle me. What they're talking about is that they are actually, they need people that will abuse them because of how
mm,
they are. That's what they actually mean. And you would not know that until you have healed. So after that marriage ended, I told myself that, you know, I'm going to take some time to learn. I know that I had some childhood trauma or some injury because I come from divorced parents as well. So I think that now, looking at things in hindsight, I was trying to make sure that I don't get divorced, I don't end up like my parents, and, you know,
mm.
I'm trying to feel that wound to prove to people that I'm myself, that I can do it and whatnot. But anyways, I took some time to heal. I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to focus on myself and mind my business. I did group therapy, I did personal therapy, I read a lot of books, I was learning about myself, doing my business. In fact, as a result of that, the pain from that divorce. And I'm going to speak again to people that must have gone through divorce to manage their expectations. When a marriage fails, you are going to lose a lot of relationships because some people, would stand with one person, some people would stand with the other person.
Hmm.
You lose relationships. It's normal because it's hurtful, but it's normal. You need to begin to find a new community.
Hmm.
So being in that isolated space where, especially coming from Nigeria, where the men will tell their wives not to associate with you again because you're now divorcees, the women, it's a lot that happened. I found I found friends on social media. That's why I started sharing, talking about scholarships and whatnot. Like I turned to social media to just talk, share. And that was where that business started from. And then I took some time to heal, learn about myself, look inwards, understand who I am as a person. Um, and when I felt like I was ready, some people say, yeah, just try some dating sites. I've never done all those things before. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just try one of these paid dating sites. It was intentional for me to try a paid dating site because I'm like, you know what? All these free dating sites, perhaps maybe people would for somebody to pay for something, at least they're a little serious. At least when they put their money there, they are probably a little serious.
Serious, yeah.
Yeah. So I got on this dating site and I told my sister then that I'm going to date. Person that I'm going to date, he must either have a PhD, be a software developer, or be a medical doctor. And she was like, "You're going to create that man." I said, "No. God has created the man already. He's somewhere. I just need to find him, or he needs to find me." And on that dating site, I'd spoken to some people, and I just wasn't like, I knew that I'm not going to settle for anything. I am not going to, once I see anything that, because I now learned red flags. Before I did that, my first marriage, I didn't know red flags. But now I now learned red flags. Once I just see anything, I'm like, no, I carry my slippers, I run away. So then I met, when I look at Paul's profile that day, I'm like, how is this big, fine, handsome man? I'm like, I see man, no, eh? And then I looked at his profile. There were some things I was looking at too. Like, you could see some people on their profile, they really don't put it, they just put their picture and say what they are looking at. But he was very thoughtful to fill all the different parts of the profile. So reading that profile, I already felt like I knew this person from what he had put down. And he put it there that, a lot of he has learned that a lot of women get a lot of messages from men, so he would not want to add to that overwhelm of
Hmm.
sending them more messages. So if you see my profile and you like to have a chat, feel free to send me a message.
Yeah, so
I
thoughtful and smart.
promise I will reply. That's what he put on the profile. I'm like, okay, let me try this person. And then I sent him a message. And we had
So
a good chat.
you shot your
Yeah,
shot.
that's my shot. Yeah, I sent him a message. We had a good chat. It was really nice, Like, Paul is very intelligent. And I feel like I don't find a lot of people, I'm not trying to brag, but I don't find a lot of people that match my level of intelligence. It's not like I'm
Hmm.
not the most intelligent person too, but I try to find out information. I read, especially with, let me not say I don't find a lot of people on those dating sites and from the people that I've dated in the past. Let's correct that. But me and Paul were able to engage in conversations. Like, there was not a boring moment. There was not a time where we didn't have anything to say. After chatting for like 2 weeks, this was during that COVID time. He's like, yeah, let's meet. And we decided to meet in the park. Of course, I don't know this man like beyond what I've seen him. So yeah, you have to be careful, right? We decided to meet in Victoria Park in Kitchener. He lived in Oakville then. So it was an open place, public place, of course. And it was in the winter. I said, "Ah, wow, because of man. Me that don't like to leave my house in the winter. Because of man, I went to sit there in the park." so, so, and on that day, Paul had brought like mats, he brought a sandwich, brought a drink, brought a warm jacket for me. Like, I'm like, wow, this man is so thoughtful. And when he came, he cleaned the snow. He looked at me, "Are you okay?" And typical Yibo kind of love that I'm not even used to. He's like, "Can I
Hmm.
hold your hand? Can I look into your eyes?" I'm like,
Dr.
Give me
Zino.
some weird vibes. Just not something that I'm not used to this. But yeah, so we had a good conversation and a good date. I was there outside for like 2 hours until I started to feel cold and I went home. And we talked and talked and talked for a while. And I think for like 2 weeks. And after that, for our next date, he cancelled. And he was like, he's currently in a place where he doesn't think that he can pursue a relationship now. I'm like, okay, fine. Yeah, it's better that he told me now than ghosting me. So no, I just left it. But at this time, we had exchanged phone numbers. We had moved outside of the chat and we had exchanged phone numbers. So I'm like, you know what? I just left it there. And a few months later, I remember I was working in the lab and I received a message from Paul asking me, how are you doing these days? So it was in the afternoon. When I received the message, I'm like, no, I'm not going to respond to this message until in the evening. Like, I will give it some time. So you will not think that I was just waiting on my phone for him to message me. So I'm not going to reply until later. And then in the evening, I replied, and we started the conversation again. It's like, yeah, I want to see if I want us to see and whatnot. So I'm like, okay. At this time, I told him, no, nobody's going to see my son. No. Well, I said, I'm going to protect him. He's not going to see this is mommy's boyfriend. They will break up. They will do this. Another boyfriend will break up. No, I'm not doing that with my child. So, it finally said, okay, that let us see. And he said he will come to Waterloo. So again, we met in a public place. We talked. So he had come like 3-4 times, and then he invited me to his place. I remember when I was going to place, I called my best friend. I'm like, I'm going to see this man. I don't know if he's a serial killer or anything, no. But this is his address. This is his phone number. If I get there, if you don't hear from me, call the police.
Anymore.
Call the police. I went there and I messaged her, and we were gisting. Like, Paul cooked for me. Paul said, "Can I hold your hand? Can I?" It's just the Zino of before I went through that healing journey. No, it's a softie for me. He would have been a softie for me, but I have now healed to know that, okay, yes, I need.
You can be pampered too.
Yes. So yeah. So, and that's how we established connection again. And yeah, before you knew it, we became inseparable. Like he's
Oh,
I just said it that, my life partner was separated from me by continents. If I had not moved to Canada, maybe I would have not seen it. And I'll share that story too from somebody from Ghana. She was in her 30s when she messaged me, she worked with me, and she moved to the US. And I remember one time I made a post about somebody that was complaining that she doesn't want to relocate because no husband, but she's frustrated. She's now 38, still no husband. So she now dropped me a message and told me that, please send this to this person. So she had been in Ghana. No, she she's not even see boyfriend, talk about husband. She's Ghanaian. And then she decided that, you know what, she's going to relocate. She came into the US. 6 months later, she was in the
she
Syria.
found love.
This is now 2 years. She's happily married.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's just sometimes your relationship is you're just separated by continents. Maybe your life partner is in another place. It cannot find you because you are in another continent, person in another continent. So you need to like you don't even know if you'll be successful, but you can never know if you don't.
If
You
you
just
don't
have to
try.
try. You cannot be stuck in one place to say, oh yeah, they say there's no husband. And people need to be open to unconventional ways of dating. You know, the other day I asked Paul that if you had met me in the grocery store and you had
Would
seen
you
me,
have
like, you
asked
say
me?
hi. He said no, it wouldn't. That it's just very weird. He can never do that. So people need to be open to unconventional ways of dating. Your friend introduces you to somebody and you people talk, or you go on a dating site. People need to be open, because if you just stay there, you have to leave your house too. When you're inside your house, nobody will see you. You need to network. Go for conferences, go for where you will meet the kind of people that you want. It's not just any, because people, one of my friends, she goes to this church that they are only old people. She's the only young person. They ask her, how do you see husband? You say you want to meet a Christian man. So how will you see husband in this church? Are you waiting for somebody to divorce? Like, you need to go to the place where the people that you are looking for congregate. Go to those places. You are looking for intelligent people. They have some of them. They are in Toastmasters. They are here. Go and register in those places and go there. If you have to pay. You need to pay for access. Pay for access. One of my friends that is doing very well, he will tell me that if he hears that they are doing something somewhere, and all these people that he would like to meet, they are lodged in one certain hotel, he will go and book a room in that hotel.
That's very
And he's ready
strategic.
with his speech, so that once he steps outside and you bump into them in the hallway, in the elevator,
It's
you
good
are
to
ready
go.
to speak. Yeah, so you need to, I tell people, pay for access is important.
Wow, Dr. Zeno, beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. You have been a great beneficiary of internet. Internet has helped you in so many ways, like your finding admission, scholarship, even finding love. So
Yes.
interesting. That's very beautiful, and I'm really happy for you. I admire your courage, and I'm so happy that this your story has an happy ending. Like, wow. Thank you for sharing all that. And there's a lot of things that you shared. There's something you talked about, talking about how people associate quitting to failures. Like, it's not always true. Sometimes it even requires being intelligent to know when to quit. So don't just say that you have to end this one, because every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else.
Yes.
And if you don't say no to something, you may not be able to say yes to something else. So for single people or single ladies or single moms that you are putting your life on hold because you think you can't find love in Canada, I'm not promising you that there are husbands here, but maybe you can pick one or two things from Dr. Zino's story.
Yeah, and you have to be living your life. Don't just stay there stuck and be waiting for husband, right? You have to be living.
Yeah,
Because
you
when
have
Paul
to
saw me too, he
continue.
also liked me. It's like, wow, what it tells me is like, you are a
What a
lot of woman.
profile.
He says you are a lot of woman. That's what it tells me. You're like 10 women in one. Yeah, so yeah, you need to make yourself attractive too, so that when the person sees you, they're like, yeah, she's not just sitting there waiting for something. I was reading one post one day where one woman was opening. It was on Instagram. She was launching a business, and you're like the cars that the people her guests used to come to the business to the launch, like show all sorts of luxury cars. This is in Nigeria, and I went to the comment section, and one girl was like, "Oh God, I pray I should marry a rich man." And I'm like, wow, this is it. I don't make comments on social media. You will not see me comment, except I'm trying to
Mm.
comment, say something nice. But in something like this, you will not see me. But I just thought about it. I'm like, wow, what
Oh,
about you? So you
why
cannot
don't you
be
want to
rich so
be
that
a
you can
rich
buy
woman?
this luxury thing. Like you're not thinking about yourself, you know. So you need to be doing something, because if you are just sitting there and waiting for one prince charming to come and save you, sorry, yeah, but you need to be busy
Yeah,
doing your thing,
empower
chasing,
yourself.
empowering yourself. Yeah. So when the man will see you, even he will be like, my God, I cannot even let this person go. You know?
Amazing. Yeah, that's profound. Now, for someone listening to you right now, maybe listening to you for the first time, would like to work with you, they want to move to Canada or any other country, because I know you have access to different funding, not just Canada, and they would like to work with you. How can they contact you?
Oh yeah, you can always send me a message on Instagram or Facebook at Zino Ojogbo. That's ZinoOjogbo. You always find me talk about funding opportunities and scholarships. And the only people that should message me are people that are ready to work. Like so, she does not fall in your lap like a platter of gold. Yeah, it's very competitive. So you must be ready to compete. It's not easy. There are so many people and not enough money to go around. So you have to
Hmm.
differentiate yourself from the rest of the applicants. And if you are ready to do that, to work hard, and grind, yeah, then
And
yeah.
grind. Yeah.
Yeah, send me a message. Let's help you to, yeah,
Follow
secure
Dr.
that.
Zino on Instagram, Zino Ojogbo. Just look for Zino there. I don't think any other person bears that name. That combination.
Oh
On,
no, they have
on,
Zinoleski. They have Zinoleski. Some people they'll be messaging me like they are messaging Zinoleski. I'm like, I didn't even not see like
that's so
can't they see
funny.
this name?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zino. You talked a lot about research. So for maybe people who studied accounting, other courses that are not science, that are not in STEM, do they enjoy scholarships as well?
Yes, so they have research programs for every field, communications, English, French. So every field has the research area, history they have. So there's scholarship for both STEM and non-STEM
And
stuff.
non-STEM.
Yes.
Amazing. So if you want to learn more, follow Dr. Zino. She's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, she's on LinkedIn. I don't think she's really active on LinkedIn, but
Yeah, I'm
just
not
follow
active
her
on
on
LinkedIn, but I
Instagram.
want to I want to become active. They're talking about, but for LinkedIn, I'm going to only talk about like my research there.
Yeah. It's been an amazing time. I've learned so much. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable with me on this podcast. You talked about a lot of things. I really enjoyed your energy. The energy you bring to the room is just amazing. And I'm glad we had this conversation. So Thank you for letting your light shine. Thank you for being a thriving immigrant. Thank you for holding those strategic leadership positions so that somebody can be inspired by what you do. On this note, I want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. These are the kind of stories that you want to listen to. And share this with someone that you think will benefit from this kind of conversation. Till I come your way again, stay thriving.